Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everyone. My name is Stephen Christian Sudjatmiko. My student ID is 642422181. I'm from class 64.2C.37 at BSI Pemuda Rawamangun branch. For this assignment, I have chosen study case 3, where I act as a special staff of the U.S. Ministry of Trade. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy my presentation.
Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Stephen Christian Sudjatmiko, and I serve as a special staff member with the U.S. Ministry of Trade. Today, I want to talk to you about a topic that continues to shape the global economy, specifically U.S. trade policy with China. Tariffs affect business, supply chains, and daily operation in ways we often don't see on the surface. So let's let's break things down clearly and talk about where we go from here. Let's start with the basic. What exactly are tariffs? Tariff is a tax placed on goods that are imported into a country. Government use tariffs to protect the domestic industry, regulate trade, and sometimes respond to political or economic tensions. Think of them as a price adjustment at the border, a way to make imported goods more expensive, so local product can compete to the others. Tariffs are not unique to the US or even China. They are used by many countries as part of their economics toolkit. Now, let's talk about the heart of the issue. Why did the US impose tariffs on China in the first place? There were several reasons. One was to address what the US saw an unfair trade practice situation where the US business felt they were not being treated equally. Another another was to pro- Another was the protection of intellectual property. There were growing concerns that American innovation, whether in software, machinery, or biotechnology, were, were being copied or used without proper agreements. And finally, there was a growing threat imbalance. Year after year, the US imported much more from China than it exported back. Tariffs were introduced as a way to adjust that balance. These policies had real consequences. For many Chinese businesses, that effect was immediate: rising costs, slower export, and increased uncertainty. Supply chains become unpredictable and logistics more complex. Some companies even lost long-term buyers in the US due to pricing issues. This wasn't just a shift in paperwork, it changed how global trade operated, especially for exporters. But amid these challenges, it's important to recognize that opportunities still exist. Chinese entrepreneurs still have access to the US market. That market remains me one of the largest and the most consumer driven in the world. And for business that can adapt through partnerships, innovation, and compliance, the US is still open. We're seeing more joint ventures, more collaboration in tech and green industries, and more interest in sustainable trade. Now, some may wonder, it is still worth engaging with the US under these conditions? The answer is yes, absolutely. Why? Because engagement builds trust. Because showing transparency and respect for rules, business can earn credibility. That credibility opens doors not just in America but around the world. And because staying engaged support long-term stability, which is good for everyone. We believe there's still path forward, and it's not through isolation, it's through collaboration. We can support new types for partnership, especially in technology, climate innovation, and digital trades. We can also align around shared goals like clean energy, fair competition, and sustainable development. And we can streamline trade regulations so that doing business becomes simpler, not harder. Let's take a moment to look at the global picture. This isn't just about the US and China. When two the largest economy in the world impose high tariffs on each other, some up to 145%, the ripple effects are huge. Phones, soybeans, electronics, machinery, entire sections were affected. The stock market responded. Other countries were caught in the middle. It became clear: trade wars don't have winners, they have consequences. So, what we can do to reduce tension and move forward? Here are three key proposals. First one, we need more open dialogue. That means regular bilateral trade talks and honest conversation. Second, we can establish a joint task force to handle tariff compliance and disputes together. And third, we need a roadmap, a gradual plan for reducing tariffs in a way that's fair and sustainable for both sides. To close, I'd like to leave you with a simple message. Let's choose collaboration over conflict. Let's choose partnership over protectionism. And let's focus on proper prosperity, not politics. The future of trade depends on how we respond now. I believe that by working together, we can create a better and more stable path forward. Thank you for your time, and I welcome your question, your ideas, and your voice in this conversation. Thank you for hearing my presentation. I hope this presentation is good enough and can explain all the things that have been through in these tariff issues. Thank you.